There's a clear loser amongst the group of 7 alkalinity test kits I'm about to show you, but declaring an outright winner is a bit more difficult. This is our 4th video in our best of test kit series. We've already done ammonia, nitrate, and phosphate, and today we take a deep dive into the alkalinity test kits. If you're interested in any of the other videos we've already done, just check. The links are in the description below. Alkalinity test kits are different than all the other ones we've looked at, which are calorimetric based. In a calorimetric based test, what you have to do is mix your reagent into your sample, wait a certain amount of time, and then compare the color to some sort of color matching chart. It's a little bit challenging because it requires that, number 1, you're not colorblind, and number 2, that you can tell the subtle differences between some of the colors on the chart. In a titration-based system, you slowly add the reagent 1 drop at a time until the color changes. So on one hand, it's a lot more accurate. The only difficulty with titration-based systems is when to tell exactly when the color changes from one to another, because sometimes there's a little bit of vagueness in between the 2 results. If you'd be so kind as consider liking this video and subscribing to Marine Depot and My First Fish Tank, and links to all 7 test kits are in the description below. First up, we have the API test kit, which once again is the cheapest one we're looking at today. This retails for $6.22. There isn't an exact number of tests, but I say you probably get somewhere around 100. So you're looking at around 6 cents per test. Total time the API alkalinity test kit took me was less than 2 minutes. There's only 1 reagent for this test, so as fast as you can get it done is as fast as you can go, and this is probably the quickest test kit out there. Ease of use for the API test kit: easy to use. There are only 2 of the 7 tests we're looking at today that only use 1 reagent. All the others use 2, so this one is super easy. For readability, I would call this one moderate if we're looking at difficulty level. And mainly because how this works is you add the reagent 1 drop at a time, and each drop equals 1 dKH. So if you put in 8 drops before the color changes and the color changes on the 8th drop, you have 8 dKH. Well, the only difficulty I found with this is when exactly did that color change? And this is true with all titration methods, but since 1 drop equals 1 dKH, if you can't tell the difference between 2 or 3 drops, then you're not exactly sure, was that a 7 dKH or a 9 dKH? So this one's a little bit more difficult to read. Quality and durability, it's nothing special. I mean, the glass vial itself is pretty good. The plastic reagent bottle is good quality. This little cardboard box isn't anything special. But if you want to buy one of their larger master test kits, this will be included. And then it comes with a hard plastic case, which is super durable for the price. The best characteristic of the API carbonate hardness is it is crazy affordable. I'm estimating it's probably around 6 cents per test, which is crazy cheap, especially compared to some of the other options we're going to look at today. Another great characteristic about it is it only has 1 reagent. And the absolute worst characteristic of this test kit is its accuracy. Because 1 drop equals 1 dKH, if you can't tell with your eye exactly when it turns color, you might not know if it's 7 dKH, 8 dKH, or 9 dKH, but as long as you don't need some sort of pinpoint accurate results, you're going to get a general sense with this test. Coming up at number 2 is the Aquaforest alkalinity test. Priced at $13 for 78 to 100 tests, the price per test ranges between 13 and 17 cents per test. Total time for this test is anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. It has 2 reagents, so it takes a little bit longer than the API test. Ease of use, I'd call this moderately easy. It does have 2 reagents, so it takes a little bit longer than the API. But because this dKH test uses really small drops, you get much more accurate results. Readability, this one I found really easy to read. I was able to decipher a distinct color change within 1 to 3 very, very small drops. Quality and durability, it's nothing special. The vial it comes with is just cheapy plastic, but as long as you don't abuse this test kit, it's gonna be fine. The first characteristic that I really like about this Aquaforest alkalinity test kit is that the color changed for me quickly enough that I felt confident in an accurate result. The second best thing that this test kit has that none of the other test kits have is that it comes with a reference solution. So you can actually test it with a reference solution so you know exactly what to look for when that color changes. The worst characteristic of this test kit, there really isn't one. I wish the packaging was a little bit more organized inside and maybe if they made it a little bit more durable. But overall, it's a really good test kit. Alkalinity test kit number 3 is by Hanna. This is currently retailing for $50 and comes with 25 reagents. So your initial batch price per test is 50 cents per test, which is quite expensive. But you can purchase 25 packs of the reagent for $9, and that lowers the long-term price to 36 cents per test, which is still going to be the most expensive test kit out there. Time-wise, this is the only other test that uses 1 reagent. Total time for me is definitely less than 2 minutes. Readability, obviously it's foolproof. As long as you do the steps correctly, it's going to give you a digital readout. So it's probably going to be the most accurate and definitely the easiest to read out of all 7. Quality and durability, Hanna just makes a good product. It comes with really good plastic packaging, and I haven't had any problems with their vials or with the checker itself. The best characteristic is its accuracy. You get a digital readout to within 1/10 degree of carbonate hardness, which is probably the most accurate, no, I take that back, which is the most accurate of any of the tests we're gonna be looking at today. The worst characteristic about this test is its cost. Because alkalinity tests are so simple, I have a really hard time justifying a long-term cost of 36 cents per test, especially when you can get relatively the same accurate readings for less than half that price. Number 4 on our list of alkalinity test kit is the one from Nyos. Currently retailing for $15 for 50 tests. That comes out to 30 cents a test. One of the more expensive options out there. Total time for this test was 2 to 3 minutes. It does have 2 reagents, but like every other alkalinity test out there, it's just a really simple test to do. Ease of use, the Nyos test kit is moderately easy. There's really nothing about doing an alkalinity test kit that's difficult. and this one's no exception. For readability, I would put this somewhere around the moderate range. It's not super easy, it's not super difficult. This test is very, very similar to API, except that it has 2 reagents. 1 drop of the second reagent equals 1 degree of carbonate hardness. Quality and durability, I would call this a step above flimsy. It's gonna work for you just fine. The vial is made of cheapy plastic, so it's not the highest quality. The best characteristic about this test, there's not a lot to choose from, because I wouldn't necessarily buy this test when I could buy the API test for 6 to 10 cents a test, and this one costs 30 cents a test for almost the same accuracy and the same methodology with just 1 additional step. So I don't really know what the best is. Maybe the fact that it comes with a syringe where the API doesn't. And the absolute worst characteristic of this test is the price. Why would you pay 5 times more for this test kit when it has the same accuracy as the API test kit? The 5th test kit we're looking at for alkalinity today is from Red Sea. There are 2 different ways to purchase this. You can get the Foundation Pro Kit, or you can buy a standalone alkalinity test kit as well. The standalone Red Sea Alkalinity Cost Kit retails for $35 for, I believe, 75 tests. So that comes out to 47 cents a test. But if you know you're gonna have to test for magnesium and calcium as well, then go ahead and spring for this test kit, the Foundation Pro Test Kit. It retails for $60 for 225 total tests, which brings that price down to 26 cents per test. The great thing about the Red Sea test kit is it's such a durable kit that they sell reagents. You can pick up a 75 pack of reagent for $18, which lowers the overall long-term price to 24 cents per test. Time-wise for the Red Sea Alkalinity test kit, 3 to 5 minutes. It's a 2 reagent process again, but you have to screw the glass vial onto the titration gear, so it just takes a little bit longer overall. For ease of use, I would call it moderately difficult. No alkalinity test kits are difficult to use, but because this one comes with a specialized titrator, it takes a little bit more time to thread your syringe into the titrator and then screw on the vial on the bottom. Readability, this one's easy. I like this one because it tells you both when you're done with your titration and also when you've overdosed your titration. So when this turns green, you're done, and if it gets to yellow, you know you've gone too far. So it's much easier to narrow in on an exact result with this test kit. Quality and durability, it's high quality, it's highly durable. This is gonna be the highest quality and most durable alkalinity test kit we're looking at today. The best feature about the Red Sea Alkalinity Tester is that it's the only one that comes with a titration tool. It's a really cool feature of this test kit. And the worst characteristic of the Red Sea Alkalinity test kit is it just takes longer than the other tests. That's relative though. This test might take you 4 to 5 minutes. And in the realm of test kits, that's still not very long. Sixth up on our Alkalinity test kit is by Salifert. The Salifert kit is currently retailing for $16.46 at Marine Depot, and you get anywhere between 100 and 200 tests. So the price per test is anywhere between 8 cents and 16 cents, with 12 cents falling right in the middle. Time-wise, just like all the rest, this is somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. For ease of use, I just sound like a repeating track. It's relatively easy to use. There really isn't a difficult to use Alkalinity test kit out there. For readability, I found this one more difficult to read, and I would put this somewhere in the moderate category. And that's mainly because it was difficult for my eye to tell. This starts blue, then goes to purple, then goes to pink. And knowing exactly when you're supposed to stop to get a reading in the purple zone was a little bit challenging for me. So I didn't feel like I got as accurate of a reading from this test kit, but it's certainly more accurate than your API or your Nyos, because this gets you to within 1/10 of a degree of carbonate hardness rather than 1 whole degree of carbonate hardness. Quality and durability, just like the other Salifert test, this one's pretty flimsy. The plastic vial it comes with is really cheapy, but as long as you take care of it, it'll be fine. The best characteristic of the Salifert Alkalinity test kit is it is the second cheapest one out there, with an average cost per test of only 12 cents. It's still probably double the cost of an API test kit. And I had 2 worst characteristics. The first was it was difficult for me to tell when this changed from blue to purple to pink. And the second worst thing about it is the chart that tells you what your dKH is doesn't say whether or not you're supposed to measure how much reagent you used or how much reagent you have left. And you may just think, well, of course it's how much reagent you've used, but some of these test kits go by how much reagent you have left. If you didn't know approximately what your dKH was, you might not know what your dKH actually is, or you might be off by several points. Our seventh and final Alkalinity test kit is from Seachem. Retailing for $14.80 for 75 tests, this comes out to 20 cents per test. Overall time for this was about 4 to 5 minutes, on the longer end, although you could do this pretty quickly once you got the hang of it. For ease of use, I would call this one difficult. Everything they give you, from the pipettes to the reagent vials, are just so small that they're difficult to use in my opinion. For readability, I don't know, somewhere around the moderate. My biggest issue with this is how much aquarium water are you supposed to add? It says you're supposed to fill up the aquarium water to the base of the bulb, but that's such a small amount that if you're off by just a little bit, your results could be really off. Quality and durability, just like the other ones, very flimsy, probably the flimsiest out of all 7 we've looked at today. The best characteristic of the Seachem Alkalinity test kit, I want to say nothing, to be honest. I want to say nothing. But if I have to choose one, I'm going to say that you get pH and alkalinity in one test kit, so that's something. And the worst characteristic, there's just quite a few. First of all, this only gives you readings in milliequivalents per liter and doesn't even give you a conversion table for degrees of carbonate hardness, and most of us in the hobby use dKH over milliequivalents per liter. And the second worst characteristic is I just don't think it's very accurate. Our first overall category, the most affordable Alkalinity test kit. Well, take a peek, all right here. These are all across the board. From API at 6 cents a test, with the Nyos and Red Sea up to 30 cents per test. Now just a note, when I'm looking at price per test, I'm using the reagent prices, not the initial outlay prices, because I'm figuring long term, if you can buy reagent, that's what you're gonna do, and it's gonna bring the price down of like the Red Sea and the Hanna test kit. So if affordability matters to you the most, it's pretty obvious, go with API. Category number 2, the highest quality test kit. You know, usually I put Hanna in the race, but for this one, I'm gonna say that the winner is Red Sea. Everything about it, from the plastic packaging to the titrator itself is just really good quality. So yeah, for me, this was an easy one. Highest quality, it's the Red Sea. Easiest to read test kit, well, obviously it's gonna be Hanna. It's the only one that does the reading for you. But if we throw that out, the easiest read test kit for me was, again, the Red Sea. I just found the color easy to differentiate, and I love the fact that it has both a color that tells you when it's done and a color that tells you when you've gone too far. Category number 3, easiest to use, API. I mean, it only has one reagent, and that reagent itself turns color the more you add. Not the most accurate, but definitely the easiest to use. Category number 4, the fastest test kit. Again, it's gonna be API. There's only one reagent, and you can do this probably in less than a minute once you get the hang of it. So my overall choice, I was actually surprised. I didn't think this one was going to be the overall winner, but I went ahead and chose Aquaforest. I think this is the best overall alkalinity test kit on the market right now. The price point of 13 to 17 cents per test, while not the cheapest, definitely puts it on the cheaper side of the test kits. This is the only test kit that also comes with a reference solution. So after you do this test a few times, you can use the reference solution to see how accurate it is. No other alkalinity test kit offers that as a standard part of the kit. I also found this test kit relatively easy to use, and the readings were pretty easy to decipher. So overall, best bang for your buck, if you're looking to purchase one alkalinity test kit, I would go with the Aquaforest alkalinity test kit. If you found this video at all helpful, please like it and consider subscribing to My First Fish Tank and to Marine Depot. Links to all 7 test kits are in the description below, as well as links to the ammonia test kit video, the nitrate test kit video, and the phosphate test kit video. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Happy reefing.